Hello, thank you for joining today's class. Today we're going to be focusing on all yoga poses and stretches that you can do in bed. So this is a really nice class to do if you're having trouble getting to sleep or if you're just feeling a little bit lackluster and want to stretch it out in bed. We're going to start off in our child's pose, balasana. We're going to reach our arms out in front of us, taking our knees nice and far apart and feet together if you like. Otherwise, you can keep your knees a little bit closer together to lessen the strain on the hips. Let's take a moment here to just bring our awareness back to our breath. Take a nice deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. In through your nose, out through your mouth. And one more big breath in. And exhaling out, and then just allowing the breath to come back to its natural rhythm, settling into the pose, allowing yourself to feel nice and grounded and supported by your bed. Shoulder stretch here. So I'm going to thread my left arm underneath my right arm, placing my tricep or the back of my arm down onto the bed, palm facing up to the ceiling, and then I just gently press into that arm to add a little bit of pressure and stretch out through the side of my back. If you're wanting a little bit more resistance, you can take the top arm, interlace the fingers, and gently pull like you're pulling away from your spine. You should feel this down the side of your back, and it should feel like a nice extension through the shoulder blade. Hold it here, keep the breath nice and steady, and feel free to close your eyes if it's more comfortable for you. Swapping over sides now, nice and gently coming up, threading the right arm through this time, and coming into the position that feels best for you where you get that nice stretch through the shoulder blade. If you feel like you need a little bit more, you might like to tilt your hips just slightly towards that side that's getting stretched, and that should just give you that little bit extra. Let's slowly start to come on out of that position. Grab a pillow or a yoga bolster if you have one, and we're going to come into a variation of our Paschimottanasana, which is a seated forward fold. So we're going to take our feet about 30 centimeters or so apart, placing the pillow under our knees, and if you need you can place another pillow up between your belly and your thighs, and then we're just going to gently drape over the legs. Here we're working on lengthening through the hamstrings and also stretching out through the spine. So you should feel a nice extension through the muscles of the back. We don't want to push the hamstrings too much here because then it becomes less of a restorative position. So you only want to be at about 50 to 70% stretch. If you're quite flexible, you can go ahead and get rid of that pillow, and you can take the feet a little bit wider if you'd like. take 3 more nice deep breaths here, and on the exhale of the third breath, we're going to slowly roll on up one vertebrae at a time. When you're ready, come on up and we're going to switch into either our 90-90 position or pigeon pose. So 90-90, you make both 90-degree angles with your legs as I'm demonstrating here, and then if you want a bit more, you just gently lay towards your front leg. If you prefer something a little bit trickier, you can come into pigeon pose where we outstretch that back leg and then we make sure our hips are really square. So both hip bones should be facing down to the ground, and then if you're comfortable you can lay down on top of that front leg. You don't have to have your front leg at a 90-degree angle for this position, just bring it as far away from your pelvis as you can where you get a nice stretch through your bottom. If you'd like to get a little bit more comfortable, you might like to pop a pillow in between your head and the bed if there's a bit of space there. Really take a moment to get nice and comfortable here so you can just sink down and let those muscles relax. Nice and slowly come on up from that one and let's swap on over sides. So bringing the left leg forward now, taking the right leg back, coming into either 90-90 or pigeon pose, whatever feels best for you. If you're in your pigeon pose here and you're feeling like you need a bit of extra support and that your hips aren't square, you can go ahead and pop a pillow under that front leg, so underneath your buttocks, and that will just keep your hips nice and square and allow you to really sink into the position a little bit more. Settling into the posture, take a few breaths. Again, closing your eyes if you are using this to help yourself sleep. And just take a few moments to really be present and feel grounded. And now coming on up out of that position, let's roll onto our back for this next posture. Take your arms out nice and wide. Opening up through the chest, we're going to rotate the knees together and over to our right hand side, gently shifting our hips towards the left. Now this twist might not be suitable for you if you've got a lower back injury, especially something like a bulging disc, so please make sure you're just cautious of listening to your own body. If it's more comfortable for you, you can take your right arm onto the outside of your top leg. Press your shoulder blades back into your bed, and if it feels right for you, turn your head towards your left hand side so you're looking away from your legs, really creating that nice twist through the spine. And we're going to stay here for a few moments, so just working on settling into the pose and collecting the breath. Let's start to swap on over sides now, so when you're ready, coming back through the center and then taking the legs towards the left hand side, hips towards the right, turning your head towards your right hand if it's comfortable for you, otherwise just keeping your gaze up towards the ceiling, maintaining a nice neutral neck there. Take a couple of breaths, sinking down, feel that twist. And on your next exhale, hugging the knees into the chest. And then we're going to come into our happy baby pose. We take our feet about hip width apart, grabbing onto the pinky toe side or the outside of your foot, and we draw the knees apart and down towards the bed. You might like to rock side to side. This was quite difficult for me as I was on a waterbed. Otherwise you can stay still and just hold on to the position. If you'd like a little bit more, you might like to try bending your left leg in and straightening your right leg out. And then swapping over sides, stretching out the left leg and bending the right foot in. We're going to take this into a nice gentle hamstring stretch now. Keeping your left knee in towards your chest and outstretching the right leg, we're going to hold on underneath that onto the hamstring, so just below the knee, and then we're going to flex the foot up to the ceiling. If you'd like a little bit more, you can hold on to the calf or the foot and draw that leg down as if you were trying to get your toes to touch your forehead. Making sure not to lock out the knee, we have a slight bend through the knee, or you can bend it as much as you need to get the stretch you desire. You can have your foot flexed or pointed, whatever feels better for your muscles. And if this is still feeling a bit much for you, you might like to bend that outstretched leg back up towards your bottom. We're now going to thread through into a really delicious glute or bottom stretch. So I'm going to take that top leg and place it on top of my bottom leg. So I've got my ankle over my knee. And then I pick my bottom leg off of the ground and flex my foot. So you can see I'm sort of making two 90-degree angles again. It should feel similar to your pigeon pose here, where you feel a stretch through the side of your bottom. And this is a particularly nice pose to do if you suffer from sciatica. As you continue to bring the legs down, you want to think about having that top leg, so your left leg, coming down towards your collarbones. And let's release on out and swap on over sides. So hugging the right knee into the chest, outstretching the left leg, and then taking your hands onto the hamstring of your right leg now. We kick the foot up to the ceiling, again keeping a little bend in the knee, either pointing the toes or flexing the foot to keep the knee nice and safe. I like to flex and point a few times because my ankles get very tight, so you might like to try that as well. Otherwise, coming to the position that feels best for you, remembering you can always grab up higher in the leg if it feels comfortable for you, as long as you're not holding on or putting any pressure on the knee joint. Let's have a little check in here, making sure our hips are relatively square and that our toes are still facing down towards our forehead. Take a nice big breath in, and as you exhale, try and draw that foot down a little lower if you can. Again, remembering if you'd like to lessen the stretch, you can always bend that outstretched leg up towards your bottom. And let's take it into that nice glute stretch. So we place the right ankle on top of the left knee. We interlace the fingers through the leg, so as you can see it goes underneath both legs and holds on to the knee or the hamstring of the left leg. We flex the foot and we start to draw our right leg down towards our collarbones, thinking about bringing them flush down and feeling a nice stretch through the side of our bottom. And let's release on out of that position, bringing our feet together, knees nice and far apart. We let the knees fall to the sides as we come into our supine butterfly pose. If you have the space, you can stretch your arms out nice and wide. Otherwise, if you don't, like I didn't here, you can take your arms into cactus pose. You also might like to place one hand on your chest and one hand on your belly and really focus on breathing nice and deep into the belly and just taking an opportunity to connect with the breath here. If you are using today's practice to try and fall asleep, I invite you to start to close your eyes as we come towards the end of our practice. We have one last posture that we're going to go through, so bringing the knees together nice and slowly. We're going to do our legs up the wall pose. Now if you don't have a wall, I'm going to demonstrate your option here. Pop a pillow or bolster underneath your hips and let your feet go straight up to the ceiling. Otherwise, you're going to see me very awkwardly on this waterbed maneuver over towards the wall. To come into legs up the wall pose, we want to get our bottom as close to the wall as possible, and then just bring your legs straight up in front of you. You can flex your feet or just relax the feet, and we're going to hold it here for a couple of minutes. This is the position we're going to end our practice in today, and the reason I chose this position is it's a really nice restorative way to calm the body and mind. We're stretching out our back, our legs, our hips a little bit. This pose is said to help relieve anxiety, improve digestion, and also increase circulation and lymphatic drainage. It helps to reduce swelling in the ankles and feet, and it can also help to reduce menstrual cramps. So go ahead and take your legs up the wall position. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this class. If you have any suggestions for next time, please don't hesitate to let me know. I hope you have a restful sleep, and I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.